It's December 27. Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform continues its operation, and my name is Svetlana Chaparenko. Now we will be talking about the safety measures in Ukraine during the New Year holiday celebration. And joining us in our studio is Roman Rudak, Deputy Director of the Department for Emergency Prevention at the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. Good afternoon, Mr. Roman. Good afternoon. So, Mr. Roman, Christmas trees, garlands, and stuff like that. How to celebrate the New Year and Christmas in a safe manner. Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I would like just another time to remind all of our citizens that State Emergency Service strongly recommends not to ignore the signals of air raid alert. We've used to it already, to the signal on our telephone and the siren, but the air raid alert warns us not about the threat of an air strike, but also this signal warns us about other acts of God. So please don't ignore that signal. And right after we get this signal, we strongly recommend to proceed to the shelters. We also recommend to have a map of the shelters in your whereabouts. For example, near your place of work, near your place of residence. Also, if you don't make it to the shelter in time, we recommend to use the rule of two walls to stay in a safe place, to take shelter in a premises without windows in your place of residence. So talking about the new year, I would like to remind everybody that within 11 months of the last year, there were 14,000 fires in residential areas, which is less compared to the similar period of the previous year. However, we still need to take all the relevant measures to prevent fires. And to do it, we have all to adhere to the fire safety measures and also to act properly in case a fire erupts. Also, within a couple of days, we will be celebrating the new year, and we recommend the citizens to remember, you know, the Christmas tree is a necessary attribute of the celebration. The Christmas trees are being installed at homes, in schools, kindergartens, and other institutions. As you install a Christmas tree, please adhere to elementary rules, such as locating it away from any heating devices that may cause ignition. So please place it at least half a meter away from such devices. The Christmas trees themselves have to be strongly fixed to the surface, to the floor, either on a metal pedestals or metal tripods, or put it in a vessel with a scent. Also, please don't decorate the Christmas trees with the non-certified garlands, the garlands that were bought from non-certified vendors. Also, please don't decorate the Christmas trees with any flammable materials such as cotton, paper, Christmas lights, candles. That's a huge no-no. Also, please pay a lot of attention to communicate this information to the children. Please don't let them switch the garlands, the light garlands, on and off. Don't leave the illumination on the Christmas trees as we leave areas. Also, please don't install the Christmas trees in the evacuation routes, so they clutter the way in or out of any room. In case a Christmas tree does catch fire, please call the fire team, and if you see, and I want to emphasize it once again, if you don't see any threat to your life, please switch the illumination, switch the garland off the socket, put the Christmas tree on the floor and cover it with the thick material. In the rooms where you install Christmas trees, also please have firefighting equipment available, such as sand, water, in the best case probably even the fire extinguishers. But again, please be cautious while using water putting out the fire on a Christmas tree, because if it's an artificial Christmas tree, it can emit hazardous substances if the fire is being put out using the water. Also, it's prohibited to use pyrotechnical devices inside of your homes, such as poppers and Christmas fires, because the sparks can cause fire on other materials and substances. Also, let me remind you that according to the law of Ukraine 39, the use of pyrotechnic devices is prohibited in Ukraine and results in penalties such as fines in accordance with the Article 182 of the Administrative Code of Ukraine. Also, I would like to use this opportunity to communicate the basic measures that are supposed to be taken while using the stove equipment, because usually at private houses some people may neglect their rules of fire safety while making fires in the stoves, which results in fires in their homes. In case of using stove equipment, please make sure to adhere to the basic rules. First of all, your stoves should be in good technical order. Also, please have necessary equipment available nearby, such as metal pans right by the stoves. Also, make sure that these chimneys have no cracks or flaws. They should be also covered with clay, because such chimneys that are attached to the wooden structures may be dangerous in case they are not in good technical order. Also, it's prohibited to use the stove equipment in unattended manner and without closing the lid thoroughly. And to wrap it up, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that during the New Year's celebrations, everybody is recommended to adhere not only to the fire safety rules while installing Christmas trees, but also such elementary rules as not making fires inside their homes, not using pyrotechnical devices, not smoking in your bed, don't leave the electric devices switched on and left unattended, don't leave anything on the gas stoves, because sometimes as the lights go off, people start using the gas burners which they put on top of the electric appliances, and such gas bottles or gas burners, they may heat up as the equipment goes back in operation, as the fires goes back on, which results in fires and explosions, or may result. Also, please instruct your children to adhere to all the fire safety measures during New Year's celebrations. Thank you, Mr. Mann. I hope that our citizens will listen to you carefully and adhere to all the basic fire safety measures and spend the Christmas holidays without emergencies. Thank you very much. Let me invite our next speaker, Mr. Oleksandr Khorunzhiy, the spokesperson of the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, who will remind us of the safety measures while staying near the water or playing on frozen water. Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate everybody with the Christmas, to wish everybody Merry Christmas and upcoming Happy New Year, and I wish everybody spends Christmas holidays in a safe manner. So, talking about State Emergency Service, we're always on duty. We have no holidays, no days off, and in the same way we will be staying on duty during New Year celebration. There will be more than 7,000 personnel on duty, plus 211 material on the New Year's night. In case of complication of situation, we may reinforce a personnel up to 11,400 and almost 5,000 units of material, both firefighting and other special rescue material. In Kiev, Kherson, there will be 920 people, personnel on duty, plus 200 units of material. So we're ready to mitigate any emergencies resulting both from weather conditions, as it was happening recently in Odessa region, and obviously by any emergencies caused by Russian Federation. In territorial bodies of State Emergency Service, there are people appointed, and the work is organized in operational units. There is a coordination with all the levels of government authorities in case of emergencies such as fires and other types of emergencies. We've developed the operational documents for the celebration facilities. We've inspected the sources of firefighting water supply, and State Emergency Service is ready to fulfill their duties during the New Year celebrations. That's about the organization of our work during winter holidays. And talking about the frozen bodies of water, since the beginning of December, there were 30 people who perished, who drowned since the beginning of December, including one child. 70 people were rescued, including 5 children. Lately, there are cases, specifically in rural areas, when children walk out on ice, and you see what weather is like outside. The temperature fluctuates from below zero in the night to above zero during daytime, up to 5 degrees above zero, and under conditions like that, the ice becomes crumbling, and it's dangerous for those who want to walk out on the ice. And I urge all the parents now to brief their children, to explain to them that they are not supposed to walk out on the ice, to stay near large bodies of water. Please explain to your kids that it's dangerous. A couple of advices. First of all, we're saying that we recommend not to walk out on ice at all. And in case it does happen and a person breaks the ice and starts drowning, please cry for help so you're heard first of all. And those who hear you are supposed to call 101 to state emergency service. And the state emergency service, as well as local governments, they have the rescuers in their organization. You've heard the statistics that we've had 10 people saved. If there is any equipment available, you can use it to help the drowning person. It can be a scarf or a long rod that a drowning person may grab. If there is no one to help you, you have to make it on top of the ice and roll over to roll away from the spot where the ice was broken. Talking about other components, it's just that when we talk about any threats on the frozen bodies of water, these are the materials that we use to brief the children to prevent any cases of death of people, death of children. And State Emergency Service, in coordination with Ministry of Interior and UNICEF, we've launched a campaign called Winter Adventures Without Harm, and we familiarize the children with the safety rules during winter. We may have printouts, leaflets, magazines, online posts that we disseminate among the children, and almost 500,000 children have received and continue receiving necessary knowledge to exercise safe behavior, because children are now on winter holidays. They play and walk a lot in the streets outside, and our information materials also cover the matter of mine safety. There are special materials that cover the safety rules during night time. We have all those materials placed in the resilient stations so that when people come there to heat themselves or to recharge their gadgets, they can get familiarized with our advice. So basically, this work is underway, and I hope it will positively influence that negative statistics that may result from such emergencies. Talking about weather, let me tell you right away, we were consulting with Hydrological and Meteorological Center. We don't expect any bad weather conditions during New Year celebrations. The only threat is the avalanche in the mountainous areas, so we urge all the tourists, if you trek in the mountains, please make sure you get yourself familiarized with the weather forecast. Also, please use the application Rescue in the Mountains, where you can register your route, or you can register it on the websites of State Emergency Service in Lviv, Zakarpattia, Ternopil, and Ivano-Frankivsk region. Also, please use the warm footwear. Also, please have the power banks available with you so you can get in touch or send a notification of your location, so in case of emergency, so you can be rescued. And also, please make sure you register your route. Well, now that you've touched upon the issue of the mine safety, I think that it's even more present during winter because of the snow cover people may not see what's under their feet. So how do they find the safe ways? Well, before we proceed to the advice on mine safety, I would like to tell you a little bit about the work of State Emergency Service. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Russian Federation, we've seized and diffused more than 464,000 explosive devices, including 3,145 aviation bombs. Just imagine the amount of these deadly things that we were diffusing during this period. During winter time, we are a little bit restricted in terms of demining because of the snow cover, because it prevents the visualization of the mines and explosive and other explosive devices. And if the temperature falls below 0, it does not allow working properly to extract that device from the ground to diffuse it. However, we still can, meanwhile the weather allows us, we continue working in normal mode, but when the temperature falls below 0, we become a little bit restricted in terms of operational capabilities. However, we continue receiving calls from the population, we set out on missions, we go to the people's yards, courtyards. The main areas where we work is Donetsk, Mykolaiv, Kherson, Kharkiv, Sumy and Chernihiv regions, Kiev region as well, but those that I've listed the first are the places of the biggest concentration of State Emergency Service units. Generally, I would like to say that before the war we had about 600 pyrotechnics. Currently, this number has grown almost thrice, and now we have almost 1,700 pyrotechnics in our ranks, and this work will continue given the scale of this sowing, so to say, by Russian Federation of our lands with explosive devices. And talking about identification, I'm talking specifically about newly occupied territories. You know, just like in that fairy tale about 12 months, don't look for flowers in the summer because you may step over a petal mine, PFM1. That's a very dangerous mine. It's very difficult to spot and many people get injured. And just last week there were 2 cases. A 15-year-old young boy stepped over such a mine, was heavily injured, but thanks God the medics were able to rescue him. Another man of 29 years stepped over a mine in his courtyard and was heavily injured too. Talking about the statistics, about the number of people who were injured since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, 277 people died as a result of detonation of explosive devices, including 14 children. 774 children were also issued as a result of detonation of explosive devices. So a rule of thumb in the newly occupied territories, as long as the demining continues, not only by State Emergency Service but by other operators as well. Please don't go to the forest, please don't go to the fields, water reservoirs, don't approximate the damaged houses or other facilities. And if you see anything similar to the explosive device, please walk back in the same way that you were approaching it. Call State Emergency Service, call 101, don't approach, don't touch, call 101. This is the basic rule that we explain to all of the children. It's easy to remember because it's very difficult to identify an explosive device, specifically in the forest where there is a snow cover, and if there is a mine hidden under snow. Please remember that it may be there. Please don't walk in the forest. Please wait until the moment that we extract all of the explosive devices. Do we have any questions on the floor? Alla Shershin, Ukrinform. Does State Emergency Service has any advice for the fishers? Which thickness of the ice is safe for fishing in water reservoirs? Well, currently we communicate that we don't advise to fish on water reservoirs because the temperature regime doesn't allow the ice to remain strong, because if the temperature falls below 0, the ice, it creates the ice. If the ice freezes, and then if the temperature grows, the ice starts melting or it becomes crumbling, and you know the thickness should be at least 7 to 10 centimeters, and you can measure it from the bank. And also, if there is a current, make sure you move on the frozen ice using some pathways that are already made there. Also, please have a rope with you, so if you fall under the ice, you can throw that rope to somebody who can rescue you. But again, under weather conditions like this, please don't walk out on the ice, because the ice is not properly frozen. Well, we would like to thank the representatives of State Emergency Service for their briefing, and Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform will continue its operation tomorrow. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for invitation.